Give Lady Luck a kiss on the lips, baby. The New York Jets just got a massive draft boost from a Davante Adams Raiders trade error. We explain in Draft Class 101. Make sure you get all your notebooks out as we explain this somewhat complicated, but it works out for the Jets as they pick a lot higher in the third round. We explain and so much more. Boy Green Daily starts now.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Let's go!
Put your seatbelts on. Get ready for the ride. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Let's go, as Hep says, baby. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcast. I'm your humble host, Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. If you're new to the channel, make sure you guys like the video and hit subscribe or old to the channel as well. But specifically on the subscriptions, as soon as we get to 7,500 subscribers, which, by the way, we're like 15 people away, baby, we're giving away a free piece of autographed New York Jets memorabilia. So if you subscribe to the channel, you will be eligible for that giveaway. And like I said, as soon as we reach 7,500, I'll randomly pick a subscriber out of the hat, and we'll reach out to you and send you something. So there you go, a nice gift, and you get New York Jets content. Can't beat it. We have a full article in the YouTube description down below describing this very topic, and we'll try to explain it as simply as possible. But long story short, the Jets just got a lot of great news last night, randomly, and I still question how we didn't know this, but that's neither here nor there. We also have a special bonus guest today on the show. Hop on Pop is here, taking over the weekend. What's up, Pop?
Hey now, good morning, Coffee Club.
Okay, there we go. We got Pop on the channel here, and we'll be answering all your questions and comments throughout today's program. Keep those memberships flowing for all the raffle tickets. And speaking of, let's flip the banner, baby. We have an updated top 5 banner. Number one Austria Jet fan has surged it back into first place. Raffle tickets 33 this month. Jimmy Jet is 25 for Lily and Big D. A-Step 10 tied with 23 apiece. Devin, a.k.a. DNY for life with 11. The big fella and Alan make an appearance in the top 5. Each having 6 raffle tickets. So God bless America. That's absolutely terrific. And you guys will be competing for these wonderful prizes. Let me throw this up on the big board real quick. We have a New York Jets patched out pullover hoodie, a Super Bowl prize pack including multiple unique items from past Super Bowls, and our custom laser engraving Jets Boy Green package, which Jets logos and Boy Green logos merged together. And that is our giveaway for the entire month of March. And we'll have a special giveaway for the month of April. Draft inspired. That's your little tip for what's coming up. But anywho, let's get right down to the brass tacks here and explain what the heck happened last night. So here we go. Let's get into it. Okay. So the Jets, this entire offseason, as we've been doing mock drafts all over the place, we've believed as Jet fans that the Jets have held the number 92 overall pick in the third round. That's what we believed. Now let's explain. The Jets, let's go back a year ago. In the 2024 NFL Draft, the Jets gave away the number 126th overall pick. That was a 4th rounder. The Lions called the Jets and said, hey, we'll take your 4th rounder right now. We'll give you a 3rd next year. The Jets go, oh, sure. Sounds good to us. So we get out of the 4th round completely. We hand that over to the Lions. We get a future 3rd round pick. So at the time of the draft, after the draft was over last year, the Jets had 2 3rd round picks, their own 3rd round pick and the Lions' 3rd round pick. Now, we're trotting along through the year, and the Jets call up the Raiders and say, hey, Raiders, we want Davante Adams. And they ended up having to deliver the Jets a conditional 3rd round pick of the 2025 NFL Draft. If Davante Adams would have been a 1st or 2nd team All-Pro, or the Jets made the AFC Championship game or Super Bowl, it didn't happen. Anywho, if that would have happened, that would have been a 2nd rounder going to the Raiders. That wasn't. So it remained a 3rd. But again, it was reported from the NFL themselves, I've checked it even on the NFL website, that it appeared that the Jets were supposed to send their own 3rd round pick to the Raiders. And that's what we thought happened. But Mike Garafolo yesterday of the NFL Network reported that a different trade that went on between Geno Smith, the Raiders, and the Seahawks, which sent a third-round pick to Seattle, was 92, which didn't make any sense because the Jets had 92. But Garofalo clarified, that the Jets actually sent the Lions' third-round pick for Davante Adams, and that pick just went to Seattle for Geno Smith. So long story short, in an incredibly confusing and complicated manner, the Jets are picking 73 in the third round, folks, and this is absolutely massive news. They've jumped 19 spots in the third round randomly from nothingness, which is a good bit of excitement for Jet fans. And I pulled out the draft value chart. Essentially, the Jets just picked up an extra bonus fourth round pick in value. The difference between 92 and 73 is massive. That is worth a fourth round pick in this draft. That could mean the Jets could use that in a potential draft day scenario. When teams look at the draft value chart, all of a sudden the Jets third rounder is a lot more valuable now. Or hell, as we talked about before, the Jets had a gap from pick 42 to pick 92. That was 50 picks we had to wait. And, oh, boy, what do the Jets do if they like one of these quarterbacks? Now the gap is not 50 picks anymore. It's just another 30. The Jets pick again at 42 in the second round. They pick at 73 in the third round. This is a great opportunity potentially for the Jets to maybe get, hopefully, that developmental potential franchise quarterback. You get your own version of Russell Wilson maybe happening here. So we throw that all back to you, Pop. This totally changes the landscape for the New York Jets in the draft. What a gift from the gods.
Yeah. So, by the way, you hear me all right?
You're on a massive delay, so you have some issues there.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch something. Hold on one second.
Okay. All right, hang on tight.
Zig or zag. So anyways.
Yeah. We'll take you off, Pop. You do whatever you need to do to try to figure out your situation. Yeah, you're on a massive delay, so when I say, "Hey, Pop, how you doing?" there's a big delay before we get there. So, yeah, let me see if we can switch things around. Just give me the thumbs up whenever you're ready with whatever. Okay, we think we've got it here. Okay, Pop, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm on the phone now. So
okay. Yeah, if you want, you can turn it sideways, and we'll get your full picture. But if there's not a good angle for it, it should. Yeah, there you go. Okay, there we have it. So whichever you prefer, either way. But yes, now we're better. Now there's no delay anymore. So anywho, long story short, Dad, I'll throw it back to you again. The Jets we thought had picked late in the third round. Now they're picking early in the third round. It was a draft. It was a Davante Adams trade error. The Jets themselves knew in their building where they were picking, but the general public didn't. And I would even say beyond the general public, because yesterday when this news came out from Garofalo that the Jets actually have the 73rd overall pick, I'm like, okay, I could understand how Heavy.com and any of us boobs in the SB Nation world or any of us that are mock drafting could get it wrong. That makes sense. We're not on the inside. But NFL.com, I mean, that's the official website of the league. They have people that work there that have access to the draft order, and they had it wrong. They had the Jets with the 92 overall pick in a 3-round mock they just dropped last week. So it was incredibly confusing. But like I said, the good news is that the Jets all of a sudden pick a lot higher, and I think this just could have massive impacts for the Jets for trading or, quite frankly, just getting a better player than they would have before.
Yeah, I think it is odd that the Jets knew all along their draft strategy has been tied to this pick where it is, but it is odd. I mean, when you start going, well, I got this pick, conditional pick from them, there, beep, beep, boop, boop, boop. A little that's my boy action. Beep, boop, boop, boop. So, yeah, it's just it's good news, but it's not really news. It's the curtain's been pulled back, right? Nothing changed. They didn't get that 4th round pick you're alluding to. We just now are aware of their picks, which we had previously not been aware of.
Which, like I said, to me would make it news because Jet fans have been under the false impression.
News.
Yeah,
it's definitely news, but it's not. It doesn't change anything at one Jets drive, is what I'm saying, right? They knew what they knew.
Yes. Yeah, but for us and our interpretations and what they could possibly do, I think it's crazy. So, yeah, like I said, it is pretty wild that this has all happened. So, yeah, let me throw this up on the board. I tweeted it out last night. Here it is. This is the updated Jets draft order. Okay, so here's what they have. They have a first rounder, 7th overall. They have a second rounder, 42 overall. They have a third rounder, which again now is 73 overall. Previously it was 92 for what we believed in the public. Again, as my father pointed out, the Jets knew that they had the right pick. We all in the public and mock drafts and everything did not know. So that is now being updated. We have a 4th rounder, 109 overall. We have 2 5th rounders, 146, 157, and then 2 6th rounders, 188 and 209. Now, just be noted, there might be some slight alterations to this when the comp picks come out. So some picks might get bumped around a little bit based on the compensatory picks that will be coming in. By the way, the Jets are expected to get 0 comp picks for this year's draft for those worrying at home. But this is the updated draft order. I also have that on my Twitter account, x.com specifically, / at boygreen25. But there you go. That is the updated draft order.
Yeah, by the way,
I appreciate that. Nice.
By the way, shout out to the raffle. That is a sweet looking sweat. Can you put that back up there?
Oh,
That is
sure.
a
Yeah.
sweatshirt.
Yeah, it's nice. It makes me want to get one for myself, quite frankly. I mean, look at this thing. You got the unique, different logos, some from Jets yesteryear, Gotham City. Yeah, it's
that's
great.
Exactly the Gotham City patch, right? You're not going to find that too many. That is a sweet prize package for the winner.
So good luck. We got a lot of people that are competing for it. So absolutely a big salute to all the people in the chat. By the way, we got 300 people in the room. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. Also appreciate the people that watch after the fact. Some people don't get early. Don't get up early. I don't blame you for the show. But Pop, the other thing we kind of glossed over of the reason we even found this out is because the 3rd round pick is well traveled. It went from the Lions to the Jets, then the Jets, the Raiders, now the Raiders to the Seahawks because Geno Smith got traded yesterday. What in the hell is going on out there?
Yeah, this 3rd round pick got around like Susie, whose numbers on the bathroom stall. You know what I'm talking about.
Good Lord. Well, with that being said, Geno Smith suddenly, the Seahawks, this is why you can never trust NFL people, by the way. The Seahawks emphatically, quote unquote, came out and said, Geno Smith's our guy. He's our guy. Why wouldn't he be our guy? And then, boop, he's traded for what is a 3rd round pick on paper, but really it's a 4th round pick. 92 is incredibly late in the 3rd round. So crazy. And yes, a few people are asking, hey, mock draft for us. Who are the Jets going to pick at 73? We'll do that before we get to the phone lines. We'll throw some names out there. It suddenly may be more available for the Jets than before. So I see those questions coming in. But this is crazy. I get that Geno Smith, some people don't like, and he's coming off this year where he had a ton of picks. To me, what a crazy, and yes, Danny, the ripple effects of it sounds like Sam Darnold could go to Seattle. So a lot of former Jets quarterbacks bouncing all around here, but one at a time. Geno Smith, a starting quarterback, was just had for a 4th round pick. He reunites with Pete Carroll in Vegas. And now Geno, who was in the last year's deal, is about to sign an extension. Apparently the money Geno Smith wants is $45 million per year. Seattle apparently refused to get there. The highest they would go is $35 million per year for Geno. So then they saw the impasse, said, okay, we're going to trade his ass. And then they traded him. If I'm a Jets guy, I would have. Geno Smith is really decent. We're in a quarterback wasteland of a lot of options. We're like, oh boy, Justin Fields, Carson Wentz, Marcus Mariota. Like Geno Smith, 4th round pick. So I get, again, technically it's a 3rd round pick, but maybe we couldn't negotiate it. But like, what the heck? Why wouldn't you have given up that mid-round pick for Geno Smith, who's a quality starting quarterback?
Yeah. If you go back, this is exactly what I was talking about. We've been talking about quarterbacks for a while. And one of the things I said is, you know, in the words of Ted DiBiase, everybody's got a price. There's not a player in the there's not a player in the NFL that's not available. The players that are not available are the ones that signed this offseason a contract. Outside of that, everybody's available. Aaron Rodgers wasn't available. I made that point before. So that's the think outside the box. And I'm not, you know, pinging on Aaron Glenn or Muji on this. I'm not. But I would implore them to really think outside the box. And, you know, Seattle showed how they have their head up their ass. Right. $45 million. Let's talk about Geno Smith for a minute. $45 million is going to be middle of the road quarterback money in the future, right?
It might even be middle of the road now. I just want to take a gander here. Get a pen out here and see. Let me do the quick counting. That's middle of the pack right now. That's
and
1, 8, 9, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 12th best. That would tie, 12th, 13th. That would tie Patrick Mahomes and Kirk Cousins. Patrick Mahomes obviously doing the team-friendly deal for the Chiefs. That ties Kirk Cousins and Patrick Mahomes at $45 million average per year for 12th, 13th in the league, highest paid quarterback.
Yeah, and realize that doesn't happen in this world of the one-upmanship that goes on, right? Like the next contract. The fact that he wants $45 million, that's a good price for a quarterback in today's market. Multiple-time Pro Bowl winner. You know what Geno Smith and Patrick Mahomes have in common? They have in common they both have had the most come-from-behind victories in the past 2 seasons at 9. At 9. He's been to 2 Pro Bowls since he's left one Jets drive. This would have been exactly who I would have wanted the Jets to get. A quarterback like this, that because the Jets are not in a rebuild. They're in a retool. And the difference is you get a few players at a few key positions. If we didn't have Tyrod Taylor, open it up for competition. If we didn't have him, Geno Smith would have been arguably the best one on the market on paper for $45 million. And for the people out there that don't like Geno Smith because of the number of interceptions last year, I would point to
they were high. Yeah,
I would point to the fact that he had one of the worst offensive lines in the league. The leading rusher for the Seattle Seahawks was 500 yards. 500 yards. No offensive line, no running game. And he's gonna throw some interceptions in the red zone. He also had, despite the interceptions, he had a 70% completion percentage, and he led the NFL, I believe, in completion percentage. But anyways, this is just an example. The ship has sailed, whatever. But getting a quarterback like Geno and realizing that truly nobody is off the table is really the vision for the Jets.
Yeah, Geno did not lead the league in completion percentage. There was a few above him like Tua and Jared Goff and Baker Mayfield and Joe Burrow. There's a few guys ahead of him, but he was still near the top. He had 70.4% completion percentage. On the interceptions, he was just one short of having the most interceptions in the NFL. That was a tie between Kirk Cousins and Baker Mayfield, who both had 16. Geno Smith was one less at 15. So, again, I get some of the interception concerns, but look at Geno Smith has been a full-time starter for the Seattle Seahawks for the last 3 years. Here are those years. This past year, 70% completion percentage, 4,300 yards, 21 touchdowns, 15 picks. Again, the interceptions, ugly. Year before, 65% completion percentage, 3,600 yards, 20 touchdowns, 9 picks. Okay. Then his first year as a full-time starter, 70% completion percentage, 4,200 yards, 30 touchdowns, 11 picks. And, man, if you watch the tape, again, I'm not a massive all-22 guy, but if you watch tape on Geno Smith, man, he is still dealing out there. So I think this is a classic case of everything you were just saying, Pop, where this is a sneaky quarterback that was available that none of us really knew, sort of looked at it side, would he? Maybe. I don't know. And then you get him for a third-round pick. That's a song in a quarterback wasteland where, again, it's over now. He's already traded, so you can't have him. But in a quarterback wasteland, we're like, oh, boy, we need to get pretty creative here with options. This would have been a creative thing. Now, the thing I don't know, and I just want to say this real quick, the thing I don't know is, would Geno have signed a long-term deal with the Jets? Okay, maybe not. Like, we could have traded for him and we'd have him for this year. Maybe he wouldn't have with the Jets. That I can't speak to.
Yeah, and just think about this. I will say this, and I can't see the comments because I'm on my phone. Nobody can watch it. But
they all say they love you.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. But Geno Smith was a better option at quarterback than Sam Darnold. He was more Sam Darnold. No, yep, I knew you're going to make the face. I know the comments. Look at the runway. Look at the body of work. Take away, right? If you took away last year, just if you could erase last year from ever existing, okay? And most Jets fans would like that.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, if you erase last year, then how does compare? Then what does Sam Darnold have? Geno's got that runway that you just talked about. He's got more proven results than Sam Darnold. Correct. 3 years in a row. That's why he's more attractive to me. And for whatever reason, he's got that. Maybe he's got the Jet stink on him, right? Ugh, what's that smell?
Probably.
Oh, that's Geno. But right, I mean, really, why wouldn't you think about it? But that cost him probably $10 million. Whatever this persona that people have about him, right? Sam Darnold's going to get 50, 55 million, right? He's getting like the fantasy monopoly Brock Purdy money that he's asking for. But Sam Darnold just 1 year, right? And he didn't take, and how did that look at the end of the season? I'm just saying Geno Smith has a better body of work than Sam Darnold, and he gets no credit for that. That's all I'm saying.
That's fair. Let's get a couple of things here. First off, our number one Austrian Jet fan with a super sticker baby, which
what is that, by the way?
Still unclear on that. Very, very unclear. So let's do one of these for him.
Here's what I do know. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
And thank you, Austrian. With your previous combination of super chats, that actually is a super sticker. Just got you another raffle ticket. So I guess that worked out on the math. So very nice there for our number one Austrian Jet fan. A shout out to you. We also have June the GM dropping in with a super chat. Every time we get a super chat, we hear from my daughter and his granddaughter, the one and only Zariah Luna.
Wow.
Pop's got knowledge. Put respect on his name. Damn straight. And speaking of putting respect on names, and by the way, June, another raffle ticket as well for your previous super chat combination. So thank you very much. Shout out to another grandson of Pops there, Paul Andrew Esden III, PE3 baby. He just turned 4 months old this week. So shout out to my handsome son and put it out on social. He's wearing all the Jets gear. Shout out to his mom for setting it all up. Now, we might need to update the gear. He has a either an Elijah Moore or an Aaron Rodgers jersey. It could be one or the other. Either way, not great. Did it?
Yes.
Oh, no, the one I have on Twitter only has the 8 and the New York. So I'm saying it could be one or the other, but either way, not great. So, but thank you. Thank you, June. And I'm sure my pop appreciates that as well. So beautiful.
Absolutely. Not to go political, but during the presidential comments this week, he read off some of the money that was given away to something. And at the end, after he read it, it was like $8 million to whoever. He's like, I don't even know what that is. And that goes to the super sticker. I don't even know what that is, but
yeah, okay.
It comes along with a donation to Boy Green and the Boy Green Empire. So thank you very much.
Yeah, God bless, baby. Again, we got 400 people in the room. Again, for those just joining us, here is the update. The Jets just got great news, or rather Jet fans, as my father is correctly pointing out, Jet fans rather, and the Jets media group and everything else got great news that, again, the Jets bumped up 19 spots in the third round. They're now picking number 73 overall, and I just can't describe. I know I'm a draft nerd, and I'm explaining this, that, or the other, but I get it. And also, I put this joke out there on social media, Pop, and I maybe you're going to feel the same way about this. I'm not sure. But I'll throw this up on the screen. Like, I got super excited about this third round pick thing, but I know a lot of people looked at me sideways for it. So I'll throw this up on the screen. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on your phone, but I'll throw it up here. This was sort of Jet fans celebrating moving up 19 spots in the third round versus the rest of the NFL. Here it is.
That's just a stupid boulder.
It's not just a boulder. It's a rock. A rock.
So I know some people are making fun of Jet fans for celebrating moving up 19 spots in the third round, while everyone just thinks it's a stupid rock. But hey, to us it's a boulder. To us it's a boulder.
Yeah, it was the boulder that was always there. We just couldn't identify it. That was the problem.
Hey, you know what? Jet fans have struggled to identify things for years, so we can appreciate when additional people are able to point it out. And here's the other side piece. I just saw this from Andrew Siciliano on Instagram, and it's the ripple effects of this. So initially last night, I see Geno Smith trade Seahawks Raiders. I'm like, wow, man, that's crazy. Didn't see that coming. But I knew Geno was in the last year's deal, so I said, oh, okay. To me, hearing that news on the surface, I'm like, the Raiders still pick ahead of the Jets. They pick sixth. That doesn't preclude them, this trade, from drafting a young quarterback if one is there or trading up or anything crazy. And then new reports have come out since that trade happened that the Raiders view him, Geno, as the quote-unquote quarterback of the future, and that they plan on giving him an extension that will reward him in such a way. By the way, Geno is 34 years of age, so they obviously still see a pathway, a runway here, which makes sense. Pete Carroll's older, too. By the time he coaches in September, he'll be the oldest football coach in NFL history to ever be on a sideline before, so he'll about to check that off. But it sounds like if that's true, they're about to give him this crazy extension. You wouldn't draft a quarterback in the first round, which sort of changes the dynamic there in the top 10 of the draft.
Yeah, in the words of Adam Sandler, Pete Carroll has old balls. But
that he does. Yeah.
Anyways, it may change the top of the draft. It may not. I mean, I say a long-term extension for Geno Smith. I'm thinking, rip up the $31 million for this year and pay him 3 years, $120 million, $150
Yeah, I'm
million.
thinking 3 or 4 years. Yeah.
Right. I would pretty much curb it at 3 with a option for 4 or something like that. But so that, they may think like Boy Green, which is frightening, that you always draft the quarterback and always draft the best available player. So with that being said, I'm not sure that they won't still draft the quarterback at their current draft spot.
Yeah. So I am certainly open to anything and everything. We'll see what happens, though. If it means anything, maybe it doesn't. Maybe no quarterbacks are available that would be at that spot. Ian Rappaport told the Jets people at the Combine, they did an interview at the end of February, but they're releasing their videos later after the fact. And Ian feels pretty strongly that 3 quarterbacks are going to be going in the first round and maybe 4. So maybe we will get some craziness by the time the draft rolls around. We got a YouTube super chat coming in here, Pop. This is from Ron Weiss. Again, I know I'm getting it right this time. Ron Weiss here.
Wow.
And Ron will add your $9.99 here to your previous super chat combinations. We will add that in here. So thank you very much. Appreciate that. And like I said, I'll fix that in just a moment. But let's read out this super chat, Pop. I don't know if you're seeing these on the screen, but hello, Esden boys. Why can't we draft this guy Doge from college? He works for cheap, LOL. I'd like Fields until we draft the star in 2026. Now, I'm going to be honest. I need to see who this Doge fella is. But do you know who he's talking about, Pop?
I am, other than the sarcastic.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. The only thing that came up here is the dog mascot from the Georgia Bulldogs. So yeah, unless that's just a joke, I missed that. But I would say in terms of I'd like Fields until we draft the star in 2026. Exactly. I don't think if you sign Justin Fields, and apparently there's a lot of hot and heavy rumors that the Jets are all over Justin Fields. I continue to see more reports are hot on his heels. They're interested. We talked about the potential of what the contract could look like yesterday. Excuse me. But so it seems like they're hot and heavy for him. If they do sign him to a 1 or 2 year deal, that definitely does not preclude them from drafting a guy in 2026 if the right position is there. I would still, even if we sign Justin Fields, I'm talking about this year, I'm still drafting a Kyle McCord, Jalen Milroe, whoever your guy is, maybe with that new 73 overall pick. Maybe that's where I'm taking the guy. And again, you just keep swinging the axe until you make contact. And even then, like I said, I would swing more.
Yeah, and I believe we'll find out if it's true. Justin Fields is he's not getting a bag, right? He's getting like a little bag, like a small baggie, like a dog poop baggie. He's not getting a hefty trash bag of money. And then that, you get him, you sign him on like a 2-year, cheap deal, right? You still have Tyrod Taylor and you still draft. Absolutely. And then, who knows? You let Tyrod and you put him in a cage match with Justin Fields and you see who comes out, right? 2 men, a little Beyond Thunderdome action, right? 2 men enter, 1 man leaves.
Yeah. By the way, apparently I'm an idiot. He was just talking he was making an Elon joke, Department of Government Efficiency. So I apologize. It's above my pay grade.
Yes. Yes, he was referencing my comments with the presidential address about he was reading off the ridiculous money that our tax dollars that were going to places like Mozambique and things like that. But anyways,
yep. Sorry, Ron. Yeah, I'm just an idiot that talks football. That's basically the sandbox in which I play in. So, but good. I'm happy that could come up. But Ron, thank you so much for the super chat. That added a bunch of raffle tickets. You also had previous super chat, so I'll add that up in a little bit. But again, I want to make sure because we have a few people coming in and out of the show. FL Phil 98 Philium came in late. Why? How did we move up in the 3rd round? Again, we also have an article in the YouTube description down below. But here's the gist, Philium, to run it back through one more time. The Jets moved up 19 spots in the third round because the third rounder they traded for Davante Adams was not their original third-round pick, as a lot of us assumed. It was 92, which was the Lions' third-round pick we got last year, and that pick was just traded to the Seattle Seahawks for Geno Smith. So now the pick is getting passed around. So the Jets knew the entire time that they had the right pick. What was unknown was to the public whether or not whatever pick that the Jets ended up having. So, yeah, like I said, this is just massive news. It's massive for potential trades. Again, the value of the pick is just worth a heck of a lot more than it was before. I have the math here. What was it? So the 73 overall pick is worth 225 points. The 92 overall pick is 132 points. The difference in points is the equivalent of a fourth-round pick, and quite frankly, it's a top of the fourth-round pick. The best pick available in the fourth round is the equivalent of that value. So the Jets just got a lot more value, so they could trade that pick and get something out of it, or and I guess we could just bring this up now, Pop, because I'm sure we'll open up the phone lines here in a bit. But we got this comment in earlier from Kevin, who says, with third-round pick at number 73 overall, the Jets select, I'm going to throw Jalen Milroe. That's the one I will randomly say today, but the quarterback out of Alabama. I think that would make sense as a guy that you could potentially take. Now that you're jumping from the back end of the third round to the front end, everything is open to you. And I think it's jumping on that quarterback train, and depending on who's available. This could very well be Kyle McCord. This could be Will Howard. It depends on where, obviously, all these guys are going to go. I don't think Jackson Dart's falling all the way to here. A lot of people believe he's going to be a late first-round pick. But everyone not named Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, Jackson Dart, everyone after that, to me, are all possibly in play here at 73.
Yeah, to me, if he's on the board, I'm not sure he will be. It would be Kyle McCord at this 73 pick. You mentioned a minute ago what's a fourth round pick in this world that the Jets moved up at 19 spots magically when they didn't. But in that world, the fourth round pick is I don't know, Braylon Allen. That's what a fourth round pick is. So
Dak Prescott.
Yeah, Dak Prescott. Never heard of it. But so it is exciting. It is and again, it's not an epiphany to One Jets Drive. It's just to the rest of us. So, but it does for the draft analysts. I mean, I'm sure even your gentleman, what's his name again? The Monday guy, draft guy.
Dom C.
Don C. Right? The Don. You come to this on this day of my daughter's wedding. The Don. I bet you he was actually, when he was talking about it when you did the mock draft, he was in the 90s as well. So it's good information for all Jets fans and content creators, and I do believe that the one to go in the third round, and now that it's early, Kyle McCord to be the one I would take.
Yes, exactly. And this is what I mean, why I think it's important for the general public here, is that, right, we use the PFF mock draft machine, and they had the Jets having pick 92, so obviously that's how we've been operating. And the NFL Media Group, they've pumped out 3-round mock drafts. People are pumping out 7-round mock drafts, and the information was just incorrect. So it's great to know. It's been confirmed by Mike Garafolo and Albert Breer. Maybe more people beyond that, but those are the two I saw, and those are two really very good information men. So that makes me feel really good about running with this information, doing a show about it, writing an article about it, and all that other jazz for that sake. Antjets82 says, does this mean Sanders off the table for the Raiders? I do believe. Forever, I've seen and viewed the Raiders as the floor for Shedeur Sanders. I never thought he would ever fall anywhere past there because the relationship, Tom Brady, all that other jazz. I never thought. Now with this on the table and them apparently viewing him, quote unquote, as this franchise quarterback, this long-term answer, whatever you want to call it, is how they were describing it last night. That doesn't seem like the kind of thing that you would waste, quote unquote, the 6th overall pick on. You'd be adding more pieces to try to make a legitimate run, which is it. So, yeah, I would take Shedeur off. You can never be surprised. Do they really think he's a franchise quarterback? I guess you take him there too. But, yeah, it seems like the sense is that he would no longer be there. Now, who knows if he's even there? Maybe the Giants just take him at 3 or somehow he's off the board before then. But, yeah, that's what I think ends up happening there.
Yeah, it would be unusual if they they sign Geno to a long-term deal and then use their number 1 pick. I think it's more likely that it's probably that the Raiders will do what I would strongly advocate the Jets to do, which is trade back. So I think the Raiders might trade back in that slot.
All right, let's go to Prestige Shogun. It's been a while since I've seen you here on the channel, Prestige, so great to have you. Yo, Boy Green and Papa Green, my tribal chief. If the Jets take a quarterback like Milroe, McCord, or Dart later in the draft, should the option to still draft someone like Drew Aller or Nussmeier in the round 1 next year exist? Yes. Yes. Now, hopefully you draft McCord, Dart, Milroe, and somehow they get on the field this year, and then you go, whoa, mamacita. Okay, we got something here. Different conversation. You see really little to nothing from those guys. So let's say it's a developmental year. Let's say you see none of them, which is really the thing that complicates things, right? Christian Hackenberg. Yeah, boy. Sorry to bring that back up. We didn't see him at all his first year. And again, it goes back to that Family Guy scene. All right, Peter, you can have one of two things here. You can have a boat or you can have this mystery box. And then Lois goes to say, yeah, we'll take the boat. No, Peter's like, whoa, wait a second, honey. This is a box. There could be anything. There could be a boat in this box. We'll take the box. And nothing's in the box. But that's the thing, is that there's this mystery. So if you draft a quarterback and never see him, Jet fans are like, well, he might not be the guy, but he could be the guy. And that's where it all goes. So I don't think, regardless of whatever they draft in this class, and then we fast forward to next year, and the Jets are convinced Drew Aller, let's just say for giggles, is the quarterback they think is a franchise quarterback. You cannot not take that guy because you took a guy in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. That would be lunacy. That would be putting this franchise back forever. And that's what happened, right? We took Christian Hackenberg. We didn't see him. Next year, we're picking 6 overall. We're like, yeah, Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson are here, but look at that box. We could have it with Hackenberg, and then we all know what happened after that. So the fact of the matter is that this should not prevent them. I would still take them because who knows? Maybe they could be the guy and you find it out. But I think you have to, again, I mentioned it earlier, keep taking swings, Pop.
Yeah, I would say, excuse me, if they do the draft, the reason they wouldn't draft next year would, to me, it wouldn't hinge upon who they drafted this year. It would hinge upon where what happens with Jordan Travis. What do we have? Right? Because to me, it's shit or get off the pot time for Jordan Travis, right? It's not his fault, but it's not our fault either. Despite what his agent said, right? He's going to show up or show out, right? He's going to make the team or he's going to make it to the exit. So if Jordan Travis showed up and showed out, then we drafted Kyle McCord, then the room's getting a little packed, right? So that would be the reason, really, Jordan Travis being on the team or not being on the team, whether I'd be in the market for a quarterback in the draft next year.
All right, Pop, before we get to the phone lines, is there anything else you wanted to get to?
Yeah, I'd just like to say, I'd like to go on sometimes I give some NFL conceptual kind of knowledge. And so I think it's time for the NFL owners, and what I'm going to say is against the law, so just write that down. It's time for the NFL owners to really, hopefully, if they all come on this thought in their own heads and they don't talk about it, then it's okay, right? Okay. And so a few years ago, the owners, obviously, we don't think this happened, but they all collectively came to this common thought that they weren't going to overpay for running backs. Yeah. Right? In the running back market, now I'm talking about a couple of years ago, obviously Saquon Barkley just kind of broke that mold. Yeah, and then, but they really, really set like the ceiling. Like running backs aren't going to make it more than $8 or $9 million a year. They're good for a couple of years, and then we move on.
Yep.
I would say Saquon's a very unique exception that he went to a stacked team and he was like the missing
maximized piece. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, and if I was Eagles, I'm not sure I would have paid him that much. But anyways, really, they need to do this with the wide receivers, because you talk about these wide receivers that are coming out, and I'm not going to talk about any wide receiver on the Jets, but like DK Metcalf. Metcalf talking and coming out that he wanted. And by the way, I'm a big DK Metcalf talent-wise fan.
We saw him. I told this story on the radio this week that we had Falcons Seahawks because we were in Atlanta, and you got his wonderful seats very close to the field. We got to see DK Metcalf warm up on the field, feet away from us. Holy freaking! He looks like a god, for God's sakes.
Yeah, and so I like him. he's the only NFL player I'm aware of that uses the pacifier as a mouth guard. But look that up. But he's not worth $30 million. He wasn't the number one wide receiver on his team. And if the market for the upper echelon wide receivers is in that $30 million range, you can't overpay, right? And that's what happens sometimes. Then you're just chasing it, right? You can't have the quarterback's going to make north of 60 million. Your wide receiver, who the number one wide receiver, with very few exceptions, contributes than significantly less than the running back in these other positions, right? If you have the Jefferson, if you have some of these other ones, the Tyreek Hill, the game changers, right? But a second string quarterback, even the 33rd best wide receiver in the league, doesn't deserve $30 million. So the NFL owners need to kind of wake up, smell the coffee, and kind of pump the brakes on overpaying wide receivers.
And maybe that's what we're seeing, right? Seattle says, oh, boy, we don't want to get up to 30. Hey, we're going to have to pay JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigma, in a couple of years. We got other guys to pay. We'll allow somebody else to pay DK Metcalf, and apparently there's a ton of interest, and we'll see. We'll see what the value is. Seahawks apparently are looking for a 1 and a 3. That seems rich, so we'll see what people are willing to pay. But here's why. I think it's a little insane, but here's why I think they might get closer to what they want than what people think. Look at the wide receiver market available. Chris Godwin, all these 30-something, Stephon Diggs, either injured guys or 30-something-year-old guys. DK Metcalf is the best wide receiver that's currently available, not named T. Higgins because he's franchise tagged, that can be had. He's the best guy. I'd put DK Metcalf above Brandon Ayuk. So if DK Metcalf is the best guy you could get, 27, Iowa Jets is asking how old is DK. That is 27. If you have a chance to get DK, he's better than those other guys. And then you go, well, all right. And that's what I think is the difference. The age is the difference, and the availability for him is the difference of all the guys out there.
Yeah. I think also people and again, I think DK Metcalf talent is like the most underutilized wide receiver in the league. Yeah. But even with that, you got to go with what's on paper, right? His stats shy of Chris Godwin's injury. Chris Godwin on paper is a better wide receiver than DK Metcalf, and he's done it for longer, right?
Yes. I would say DK had this really awesome year 5 years ago in 2020. It was the best year he had. 100-plus catches, 1,300 yards, 10 touchdowns. That was the best year. And people thought, DK has arrived, move over world. And he never touched those numbers again. Is that DK's fault? Is that the offense? I don't know. Again, we play that game that we play with Garrett Wilson, so I'm not going to do that. But he hasn't touched that in 5 years. So that's part of the conversation. Now, Godwin is coming off a season-ending injury, which was pretty nasty. So I don't know what the rehab is for Chris Godwin. But nonetheless, that's why I think because of the limited people that are available, people look at the free agent, and then they look at DK, they're like, shit, okay, well, DK of all the choices, maybe that could create a mini bidding war. I'm sure that's what Seattle's hoping for.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this, just to be clear, I bring up the wide receiver and not to overpay for, undervalue. It doesn't matter, right? This is what's available. It doesn't mean I have to overpay for it. And I do not want the New York Football Jets to go sniff anywhere near DK Metcalf because if you remember, right, if we go back, right, someone on this call was overjoyed with the concept of Davante Adams. Someone said, this is going to be a freaking problem with Garrett Wilson. This will be a problem. One of us said that. And you know what? That was a freaking problem. So why would we think, and by the way, Davante Adams comes with his own whatever. DK Metcalf, right, Seattle's a small market. Right. So you don't see, but you still know, he brings his own shit to the table, right? He's a little Steve Smith in him, right? He gets a little rumble and tumble and causes some problems. You bring that to New York, which is not a small market, right? And you plug him in next to Garrett Wilson. It's going to be a freaking problem. The Jets would overpay for a shiny object, and the chemistry in the wide receiver room would be in the garbage. There's no way they should go anywhere near DK Metcalf. And I say that, saying that I love DK Metcalf and the talent he has, but it's not good for the Jets.
I would love DK Metcalf. That would be awesome. But if we're being more realistic, The wide receiver I have circled in the free agent market is not a big name at all. It's Darius Slayton. Now, I'm curious the price that he would get, but he's a deep threat possibility. He's got a consistency. If you look through his career about the amount of catches and yards he's able to produce, regardless of who the quarterback is, he's a guy I would love. Now, again, because of the wide receiver availability, maybe he gets priced up a little bit more. Hey, it's free agency. You sort of have to accept that. He would be a perfect guy that's clearly not a wide receiver one, but he would be a competent guy across from Garrett Wilson. You're going to do more than that too, draft and everything else. But Darius Slayton's a guy I like a lot, and I have circled and permanent marker ahead of free agency.
Yeah, and let me go back. The other reason not for DK Metcalf, and then I'll jump over to Darius Slayton, is DK Metcalf, in my opinion. I don't know. I had Aaron Glenn over for steaks last night. We didn't talk about the wide receiver room. But DK Metcalf does not strike me as an Aaron Glenn guy. You're going to get some Aaron Glenn guys. I don't think DK Metcalf is an Aaron Glenn guy. Darius Slayton, I believe, would be a good – that's what you need. You need a solid veteran number 2 wide receiver. He is going to be cheap, my opinion.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
As you've said before, you're his real estate agent, right? He won't have to move. Hey, blah, blah, blah. You won't have to sell your house. You just have to move sides of the locker room. You know, he's a average – you know, he's going to get, in my opinion, he might get 3 years ago Alan Lazard money or a little less. Yeah,
his current projections are in the 12, 13 million per year range, which is a little more than Lazard got. Lazard got 11.
Yeah, inflation.
Yes, I agree. No, I'm just saying that I agree. I think that's around what he's going to get. Some people will be hesitant to pay that sort of price for what Darius Slayton is, and for that I go, well, the cap exploded. Again, natural inflation that comes up. Yesterday's price is not today's price. I think that factors in too.
Yeah, I like him because, you know, over his NFL career, he's averaged 15 yards of reception. Guys like that don't tumble off a tree, right? What's your average catch? 15 yards. All right. Well, now we can do a little more, you know, the stretching of the field that Davante is no longer going to do for the Jets. By the way, my prediction is Seattle becomes the New York Jets West. They scraping up the trash or the leftovers from the Jets. The little Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams take their talents to Seattle.
Ooh, that'd be a fun spot, and we'll see if they can immediately compete. They were close to a playoff spot this past season. Hey, I see we got another 5-pack of Boy Green Coffee Club memberships. Ant Jets 82, baby. All righty. Boom shakalaka. 5 new members to the Boy Green Coffee Club. Shout out to Ant Jets 82. That is 5 raffle tickets for a contest that'll be, again, we'll be gifting that away there as well. So booyah, baby. Here are the 5 new members to the Boy Green Coffee Club. Danger Zone. Shout out to having Woody on the show the other night. Danger Zone. Wonderful job. Matt Armetta. Alan got a membership. Hey now. Tony Alexio and John LG. Yes. Freaking sir, Ant Jets 82. Thank you so much. And look at that. Ant Jets, on top of that, bought themselves a membership to the Boy Green Coffee Club. That's what I'm talking about, baby. That is now 6 raffle tickets, Ant Jets 82, for our contest. Welcome to the Boy Green Coffee Club. It's great to have you. So thank you so much.
Welcome indeed. By the way, everybody, pound the like button. Share it. Share it with your friends. You know, not treat it like you wouldn't treat your wife. Share that shit all over the place, right?
Good Lord. Wow. Okay. Well, Ant, thank you, pal. Thank you so much. Again, you guys can join the Boy Green Coffee Club right now in the YouTube description down below. It's very simple. It says join the Boy Green Coffee Club here. Click that. It's only $2.99 a month. And with that purchase of a YouTube membership, you get all kinds of perks, early access to member-only videos, Discord chat, access to all of our emojis, and raffle tickets. You buying your Boy Green Coffee Club membership gives you a raffle ticket. Gifting it, as Ant Jets just did. He has 6 raffle tickets, 1 for the one he purchased himself, and then the 5 he gifted away. So, again, just like that, 6 Boy Green Coffee Club memberships. And look, we're starting a party here, baby. T-Town Jet just gifted a Boy Green Coffee Club membership. Ooh, I'm sensing a party is about to be popping here, and that went to Taylor Sterling, a good commenter on the channel. So shout out to T-Town Jet, baby. membership coming through, Pop. It's getting frisky in here.
Yeah, it's a party. I'd like to invite you to a pants party. All right,
Okay.
Brick, are you inviting me to a party in your pants? Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Which there you are. So beautiful.
Take that like button to Pound Town. Let's go, people.
Wow, that is wildly vivid. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it. But yeah, keep them coming, baby. We love it. And Ron Weiss appreciated the Dice Clay action there. So there you go.
By the way, how did you ever mispronounce his name? As a child that watched every freaking Notre Dame game for 20 some odd
Charlie
years,
Weiss, right?
How would you ever mispronounced his name, for God's sake?
I don't know. Yeah, that's embarrassing. I admit it. And speaking of, Charlie Weiss actually just joined Rich Cimini on his podcast this week. His son, Charlie Weiss Jr., is the offensive coordinator for Ole Miss, Jackson Dart. So he's been with him his entire career. So there's a lot of connective tissue there. And Charlie Weiss, former Jets coach, he is pounding the bleeping table for Jackson Dart and says whoever drafts this young man is going to have a star quarterback on their hands. Now, obviously, there's some bias there because of his son, but he is saying that we need to all jump on the Jackson Dart train and we won't regret it. So Charlie Weiss continues to pound the table there.
Yeah, so Charlie Weiss, right? He's a great guy. You don't want him in front of you at the buffet, but I was
great QB evaluator. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's a great quarterback evaluator. He's probably one of the worst head coaches in the history of football, but an amazing offensive coordinator for sure.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. Speaking of all these quarterbacks, Pop, real quick, we have more memberships coming. We'll get to that in just a moment. But we had Sluggo asking earlier, what's Pop's take on drafting Notre Dame quarterback Riley Leonard in the late rounds? He was just in the national championship game, and obviously he was at the Combine and Senior Bowl as well.
Yeah. I think Riley Leonard would be an interesting. So to me, later in the draft, and you could pick it 5, 6, 7, somewhere like that. Riley Leonard to me would be like a Tim Tebow-esque kind of quarterback. And what I mean by that is you put him in on the goal line, right? You bring in the goal line package. And by the way, this would have helped Geno Smith last year when he had no running back. You bring in the Riley Leonard, right? Anybody that watched the opening drive of the national championship game,
terrific.
That kid has got the major league yabos. And so is his arm there? I think that's something that who knows if it could develop. But I would tell you, I bring him in on the goal line, and similar to what Tim Tebow did. You knew he was doing whatever they call that stupid package that they had in Florida there, but you knew what he was going to do, and he had the option to do that short passing. And so I would tell you that he would be an interesting, I call it slash-like type player that you bring in on the goal. I think it'd be interesting, because the kid's he's amazing. He reminds me a little bit of Tony Dungy from Syracuse, where he just throws
Eric Dungy.
Eric Dungy, sorry, with wild abandon. So I like that late in the pick, late in the draft as a kind of let's see kind of player.
Yeah, I was about to say Tony Dungy, a little frail, smaller frail. Man at this point. Right. I don't know. Back in the day was a wonderful player.
I always in my head I twist those around. Yeah, I have. Yes, I have the Eric Dungy autographed football downstairs.
Which, by the way, speaking of Dungy's, I've got Tony Dungy's book back here somewhere, which is a wonderful book, by the way. So shout out his power between, Christ and football and the connection between it and some of his journey throughout the league. Yeah, quite. There's no doubt about it. So there you go. So So to answer your question, Sluggo, that's Pop's take. I don't know if he's a franchise quarterback. He's got heart. He's willing to throw his body on the line. Look throughout the season of Notre Dame where there's a first down. He's like, YOLO. Some guys go, I'm not sure if I'm going to stretch for this first down. Riley Leonard's like, here's my body. Whoa. And just sort of throws it out there, and he gets battered and bruised. So he's a wonderful young man. I don't know if he's got franchise quarterback abilities, but right, if you do have kind of that vision for the name I'm about to say is way higher than what I think Riley Leonard could be. Brad Smith, where he's not quite, he's obviously not Brad Smith at all, but like that sort of, freakish stuff you can kind of work into the playbook. Shout out to NC Green here. It is raining memberships. Oh yeah, baby. It is raining. That is 5 raffle tickets for NC, a.k.a. NC Green. Delusional Jets fan, John B. Fucking Jets for life. Wow. Smoke Champ.
Hey now, come
Simple
on now. This is a
Eats.
family show.
Well, there you all go. Those are 5 new raffle tickets, NC Green, to our contest, baby. That's been added to the total. So, yeah, baby. Appreciate it. It is a historic membership reigning show, which we appreciate. So, thanks, everybody. Thank you so much for the support. All right, Pop, is there, like I said, anything else that you wanted to get to before we got to the phone lines?
Nope. I'd just like to shout out to your Uncle Chris is here visiting. So
oh, nice.
A shout out to him. We'll grilling a little steak action.
Oh, wow.
Hanging out, throwing some cards. So shout out to him. As
Okay.
always, a shout out to your lovely Imam G.
There you go. Let's see. I haven't done this one in a while, so let's throw it up again, guys. Make sure you show it in the chat for support. The Imamji, again, all emojis are crafted and created by Snowball. So thanks to Snowball, he makes every emoji on this channel. We're a handful of quite a few handful of memberships behind for our next emoji. So we'll see what happens in due time. But once you are a Boy Green Coffee Club member, you have access to all of these and so many of Easy OC, Ricky New York, Hep, the legend, the Philium. Oh, sure. Yeah, Philium, Terrence, Johnny Boy and his Trojan action happening here. Baby Maker extraordinaire. Phil, Austrian, Jet fan, Jimmy Jets, emoji. Getting some of that in there. And, well, that's not an emoji. Whoops. Went too many pictures down. Anywho, there we go. So there's.
Thank God you stopped at that one. You didn't show that other one with you in the bathtub and the Jello.
Hey, there you go. Let's try to avoid that at all bets. But also, I'll put this one up, too. I forgot to. That one's lower on the total because it's fresher. Chef Kevin Gilbert, hey now, who could be catering our big Boy Green Pop event that's coming up in the near future. Again, more details on that to come. We'll be hammering that out once we get past some of the busyness of free agency, the draft, and all that jazz. Because the next big one after all that is the schedule release, which comes out in May, which I'm excited for.
And that's really when the shit hits the fan is when that schedule comes out. The game will be selected, and then it'll be a ball of fire, lining things up, tailgate, the food, the party, the DJ, Hep playing live,
sure,
the hotel package, the special gear made specifically for that day. It's gonna be amazing, or as they say here, a hazing in homage to your sister.
I appreciate that. By the way, number one Austrian Jet fan jumping in the mix, which we appreciate here on the channel. Whoop, let's get that back up there. A super chat coming through.
Wow.
Much love to the Esden clan. Keep it up. Pumped for what is to come. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. And again, shout out to Austrian Jet fan. He won our big giveaway in the month of February, and long overdue. So it's great for Austria. He's been such a massive supporter of this channel. So we appreciate you, Austrian. Thank you for everything you do. And hopefully that gets there soon. This is our first international travel that we've ever done for a giveaway before. So, prayers up to the postal workers getting that to you to Austria. So
did you make sure you were very clear on your penmanship? Your penmanship is not your strength.
It is not. So hopefully so. If it's not, I guess we'll send you another package, Austrian. So
hopefully you're not going to get a picture of a kangaroo with wearing a Boy Green gear because you sent it to Australia instead of Austria.
Which, by the way, it's still available. We number one Austrian Jet fan, that one's sort of claimed, but number one Australian Jets fan, if you're out there somewhere, that placement is reserved for you at the Boy Green Coffee Club round table. So that's available. All right, Pops, you ready for some phone call action?
Yeah, I could do a couple. Yes, and just like there's a bunch of kids in Africa right now wearing Kansas City Chiefs 2025 Super Bowl winner shirts.
Ooh, three-peat. Yeah, that's
the three-piece shirts. They're still available.
Those are classics. That's for certain. Okay, the call-in link is about to be live, baby. A quick Hep song. We'll be right back on Boy Green Daily.
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Talking Jets football, man. Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. New York Jets Football Club. Offense, defense, special teams. Watch Jets football with Boy Green. Jets, Jets, Jets. Let's go.
That fires me up every time, baby. Hep, one of our gosh darn legends on the show. He's been such a pillar of the program, and this show has exploded over the last couple of years. And a big shout out to Hep for making all that possible. It's terrific to have Hep on the show. Shout out to Gator for our brand new intro video. I'm sure, Pop, you're happy to no longer see Aaron Rodgers featured. And shout out to the new Hep call-in line. That's very nice.
Yep, I really enjoy it. Is my camera screwed up or something?
No, your camera seems fine. I think whatever happened to you, you could blame your parents for. So
yeah, easy.
Hey now. Anywho, all right, let's jump over to the phone lines. We got Hep here on the show. What's up, Hep?
Hey, Pop. Hey, Paul. Hey, fellas. I'm really intrigued with this Hendrickson coming out of Cleveland. What do you think? They said we might be able to get him for a third rounder.
You talking about the Cincinnati kid, Trey Hendrickson?
Oh, yeah, right. I'm sorry. Yeah, the Cincinnati kid, right.
No, I don't blame you for just random Ohio, the pass rushers in the state of Ohio just demanding trades and trying to get out of there. I can understand the confusion. Yeah, I mean, he led the league in sacks last year. So, I mean, obviously it's one of the Rich Eisen loves to do this. So, like, let's say Patrick Mahomes demanded a trade. And Rich Eisen's like, oh, guys, don't worry. I came up with a top 5 list of the teams that should be interested. And he goes, number 5, your team. Number 4, your team. Number 3, your team. Number 2, your team. It goes through the whole team. Like, everyone should be interested in this guy. Same thing for Hendrickson. 31 of the 32 teams should be all in on Trey Hendrickson.
Definitely.
I mean, he's sick. And I know a lot of Jet fans, we had the choice a couple of years ago in free agency. Who do we go after, Carl Lawson or Trey Hendrickson? We picked Carl Lawson, and, well, unfortunately, that one didn't work out. Trey's awesome. So, yeah, Trey would be a wonderful one. If it's only a third-round pick, where the hell do I sign up? So that'd be wonderful. Pop?
Yeah. You got to be selective, right? We have some money, when we whenever Woody's favorite wide receiver leaves the building, we're going to have some cap space.
Selectively aggressive. I like that strategy.
Yeah, I want to be selectively aggressive. I've said it before, I'll say it again, and I won't back down the fact that I said that, Hassan Reddick, if I didn't realize that he was going to come in eating too many Krispy Kremes and not be dedicated, assuming he was dedicated, lined up next to Quentin Williams, I thought he had an option. So I like the Trey Hendrickson. It's going to be part of the whole package. We can't just, grab him at the cost of other things. I think you line up somebody next to Quentin Williams, and they're going to do better. So would he have an impact? Absolutely. Does he fit into the total package of what we can do? I'm not sure, because it's going to cost. It's going to be expensive.
Yeah.
Well, Hendrickson could be our Hutchison, really, kind of, right?
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
I think basically this year we're kind of basically retooling our defense, right, and getting our offense to be respectable. Even if we bring our offense to the middle of the road and we get our defense back where they were, then the following year we make our push on the offense. And it's a 2-year program, 2-year deal at this time. We might sneak into the playoffs. You never know, but who knows?
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Love it, Hep. Thanks for the call. 100%. We're going to have to see what happens with everything. Again, you should consider everything, all right? To the Geno Smith point, you don't know when someone's going to be available, who they're going to be available. So I hope Darren Mucci, I'm sure he is doing his due diligence on everybody. Oh, Trey Hendrickson available? Oh, what are you looking for? Oh, what does the contract look like? All right, I'll get back to you. You put that on the board, and then you sort of go through the full process.
Could all fit together.
I think that's an important piece to the puzzle for sure. By the way, people keep asking. The legal tampering period is coming up this Monday at noon. And that means deals likely will be that 5 minutes after the legal tampering period, it's either NFL people working really fast or maybe there was some tampering before tampering happening. There's going to be some deals announced immediately on Monday, I imagine, as well. Free agency technically is until Wednesday at 4 o'clock. We'll see how many moves are left at Wednesday at 4 o'clock once it officially opens up, Pop.
Yeah. I'm blanking. What was the name of that horror movie where you could kill people for like a day? It was legal. Purge. Right. Yeah. So the NFL needs to just call it the purge period or something. The legal tampering period. That sounds
sort of an oxymoron. Yeah.
Right. It sounds like, hey, for on prom night for an hour, we're gonna all look the other way. So it's just a stupid name.
All right. Well, it is. Again, it is literally an oxymoron. Legal. Tampering. Not legal.
By the way, I'm all for the purge, just for the record.
Hey, you know what? I made this take on the radio a couple years ago. I got a lot of angry calls. What's wrong with trimming a little fat? There's like what 5 billion people on the planet. There's got to be some bad apples mixed somewhere in the mix, I would imagine. But that's neither here nor there. Travis Preheim gifting a Boy Green Coffee Club membership. Thanks, Travis. Appreciate you, pal. Boom Shakalaka. That is another raffle ticket, Travis. You've been piling them up this month, which we appreciate. Thank you so much. That went to David Hall Jr. David Hall Jr. just got a membership, and Jared B, as new members have been added via YouTube, you guys gifting them. He's dropping the Discord invite link, which, again, you guys have access to if you are a member to the Boy Green Coffee Club. So feel free to take full advantage of all the perks of being a member. That is six raffle tickets, excuse me, for Travis. Go ahead, Pop.
Yeah, this just in. They are going to legalize the purge. And I've actually got some live video. We went to Patrick McCombs' house. Is that Josh Allen? What's he doing at his door?
Oh.
Anyway.
FL Phil 98 says the current population is 8 billion plus. So there you go. A lot of wiggle room there.
Yeah, and I just want to, I love everyone, but it'd be okay to get rid of some stupid people. It should be like everyone. I need everyone taking IQ tests, and those at the bottom. I need you to go over here. But anyways.
All right, let's go back to the phone lines. We've got June, the GM. Hey, look, there are still some Knicks fans out there in the universe. What's up, June?
Hey, this is my team. You know who's on the scene? June, the GM with Mr. Boy Green. Let's get it.
Hey,
you know what? I wish the Celtics could play the Knicks, 6 or 7 more times this year.
Hey, we got one more. It's near the end of the season. We got one more Knicks Celtics matchup. I can't wait.
Pops. I just see Brunson go down. Don't hurt my feelings.
Oh yeah, the rolled ankle.
Be nice, man.
A while. Yikes.
I was doing my little research. I know sometimes I get hyper and I mispronounce a name or say the wrong thing, and Jet fans like to crucify you for that type of stuff.
Oh, that's for sure.
I'm gonna try to start. Yeah, I'm gonna start slowing down a little bit. So, you know who was a big time snub in 1955? An unknown guy by the name of Johnny Unitas got drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers, 102nd overall, and was cut before the season started. And then Baltimore picked him up, and the rest is history. He's a Hall of Famer. If you don't know who Johnny Unitas is, don't watch football. Please just go watch. Do another sport.
Become a Knicks fan.
Hey, come on, Pop, again. Come on, Pops. So.
And by the way, June asked for this. I want this to be very clear. Earlier this week, June came to me. And I said, yes, share your sins, my son. What do you have to share? And he said, actually, it's not sins. I got a few, complaints. Can I send them in? I'd like the Woody shows to be longer on Tuesdays, Thursdays. So I'm like, okay, we'll see what we can do. And he says, more hop on pop. It's just too short. We need more hop on pop. So you asked for this, June. You asked for this.
It's like sometimes when you pray to God and you ask for something, but you don't ask for the journey to get what you asked for.
Yeah,
that's what's happening. Okay, I'm getting it. But I say that to say this, right? Dude's been getting it wrong since back in the days when it comes to quarterbacks. Of
course.
Yeah. It's hard. You only hit out here at a 30%, 25 to 30% rate on draft picks. Nobody knows. Pops might not like Shador. I love Shador. The reports were out there about Shador, about him being arrogant. And then I saw Marcellus Wiley's take on it. And I actually like Marcellus Wiley's take because it's a little bit different from the normal, because a lot of dudes get cut checks. ESPN is only going to say what they're told to say, I feel, a lot of times, right? Marcellus Wiley worked for himself. And he basically said, be careful calling someone arrogant when they just don't feel that they're in need like other people and they can speak their mind freely. People don't like free speakers or free thinkers. That being said, I don't know the kid personally. I do like him. If he forced to 7, hey, man, listen, I would take him at 7. That's just my opinion. Yeah. Will he become a superstar? I don't know, because according to the Jets, Geno Smith, we gave up on him pretty damn quick. He turned out to be pretty all right. Geno, same thing with they gave up on Baker Mayfield. 2 teams, right? He looks like a franchise quarterback now. I think, like I said from the get-go, a franchise quarterback, to be called that, yeah, talent is one thing, but you have to land in the right situation, right? I mean, the coaching is essential. the team around you, the offensive line play. You are having a coach that can adapt the playbook to your strengths is important as well. That's one thing I didn't like about Salah. When the game was on, he didn't know how to make adjustments, man. It's like, this is what we playing, we're gonna stick to. No. The good coaches, Bill Parcells, Bill Belichick, they make adjustments at halftime. That's what we. And you know what? I gotta be honest. We can make fun of him all we want, but damn, that coach in Philly is pretty damn good to be disrespected all the time. He got them boys looking good out there in Philly. Okay, he always does some asinine stuff.
Yeah, Sirianni's such an ass. I hate. He's a real jerk. And speaking of takes. You know what? You want to give it back to Pop, right? Pop keeps slamming on you for your Knicks, which, again, there's a lot of meat on that bone. But, Pop, didn't you say before this season that your hot take was Nick Sirianni was going to be fired in the middle of the year, and they won the freaking Super Bowl?
Yeah, so I'm good with that. And that's a great take, and I'm proud of it, because Nick Sirianni was closer to getting fired than being retained about halfway through the season. People that forgot about that. When he starts yelling at fans, and it looks like the wheels were coming off the train.
Oh, yeah, he would, yeah.
Yeah, that was at the beginning of the year in Cleveland, yeah.
Yeah, so, but anyways, let me clear the air a bit. I'm going to have to get off here in a minute. Let me clear the air a bit on Shedeur Sanders. Right. I think that Shedeur Sanders is not a first-round draft pick. It's not personal. I don't care what he does. I don't care if he wears jewelry or whatever. And I can't believe if you were raised in Deion Sanders' household, you're going to, like, talking shit is like breathing. Right. So I don't care about any of that. Right. I'm just not sure he's that talented. He wasn't that highly recruited. He didn't play that high of a level of competition. This is all my opinion. He didn't play that. And some of it's facts. He didn't play that high of a level of competition. His mechanics as a passer, there's some flaws there. And some of that stuff you can't fix. Right. You throw the pass the way you throw the pass. You can work on it. It might work. It might not. I just don't think he's the player for the Jets. I think that it doesn't fit into Aaron Glenn's philosophy. He says, I'm not making any moves that don't help us win now. I don't believe in any scenario, no matter how good Shedeur Sanders is, he's going to come in and help the Jets win in 2025. That's my opinion. And that's why, with the best draft pick you got, I wouldn't spend it on him. It's not a hatred of him.
That makes sense. That theory makes sense. But if you're going to put it that way, that we want somebody to help us win now, that makes absolute sense. Now, I don't know if not drafting him at 7 puts us in a position to where somebody else drafts him and he looks like the star that we never had. God, to be dealing with that as your first year, it's like we said, we don't know. I do want to bring up a name, though, that nobody's talking about, right, as a free agent, that I think has a lot of talent. They're young, and we're not going to have to break the bank. I like the Monty Brown from Washington. Stepped up in the playoffs, looks good, would be a great number, maybe not a number 2, but a good number 3 receiver who can make a play here and there when needed. I mean, we don't have nobody, right? I don't know why they're not talking about him. He's 25 years old. I like him a lot. And to picture him, working a little slide in the outside, I think that's somebody that we should pay attention to. And like I said, it's not going to break the bank for us, I think.
I like that, June. I like it. Well, thanks for the call, June. Appreciate you, pal. And, good luck to your Knicks. God, do they need it. There's no question about it. Pop, as we head out of here, I just want to make sure I'm not just going to talk behind your back. There's a few more callers, so I'll stay on to answer those calls. But I agree with you. Aaron Glenn keeps talking about win now. But if he thinks a franchise quarterback is on the board at 7, even though he's claiming win now, if he thinks he could draft a guy and let them sit behind, I don't think his strategy of win now is going to prevent him from taking a franchise quarterback if he believes that's on the board at 7.
Yeah, and I can accept that. I just don't think it's that clear that Shedeur Sanders is a franchise quarterback.
It's definitely not. I don't think it's clear that it's not clear that Cam Ward is a franchise quarterback. It's all going to be on the Jets.
There's not a Peyton Manning in this class, right? There's not.
And even then, that's not guaranteed, obviously.
That's right. Right. There could be a Ryan Leaf in this class. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Fair enough. Pop, thanks as always for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow morning for more Hop on Pop action. Appreciate you. There he is, Hop on Pop, gracing us with his presence here on the program. I'll stay on and answer a few more phone calls. Again, we got 800 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe. Let's go. Let me check right now. Let me see what we're at right now, because we are so close to 7,500 subscribers. Let me see here. Let me take a quick peek ski. over here on the YouTube sphere. We are 14 people away from 7,500 subscribers and giving away a free piece of autographed New York Jets memorabilia. So any Jet fans you know that's not subscribed to the channel, get their ass over here, baby, and let's go. Let's hit that gosh darn subscribe button and get this in front of you. More Jet fans' eyes. And when I'm going to the post office after the show, I'd love to send another piece out there. We will see if we can do that again. As soon as we reach 7,500 subscribers, we will do that. Let's go back to the phone lines here. Up next, we've got Ricky New York here on the show. What's up, Ricky?
Hey, what's up, Paul? You know what? I could have used some good news this morning, and that slide up in the draft is there are bad players in that 92 range, but there's a lot more intriguing ones, in the 70s.
We need a fresh mock draft from Ricky New York, baby, based on this new news.
You know what? I did one. I'll post it. I'll post it in Twitter after the show.
Please do. Yeah.
But I actually did one already.
Okay, who'd you get at 73? Who was at 73?
I took Jaden Higgins, the wide receiver from Iowa State.
Iowa State. So, yeah. Okay. Nice. I like it.
Big kid. He's like 6'3" and a half, 6'4".
Mm-hmm.
But perfect compliment to have on the other side of Garrett. But yeah, I took Tyler Warren at 7, and then ended up snagging Tyleek Williams at 42.
Oh, amazing.
Which yeah, I mean, you know what? I was really torn though, because Azare Thomas was also there at 42.
Oh my gosh.
And I was going, I was going, and both of them are like Aaron Glenn guys. So
no doubt.
And that's the thing when it comes to Shedeur, like to like put it in terms that people can understand. Like if Aaron Glenn wasn't drafting, say, college players, say he was drafting everyday people, he would be drafting like iron workers and coal miners. He wouldn't be drafting rock stars. I think that that he covets. That being said, you know what? I think there might be something to this Darius Slayton smoke that I've been hearing. That's too.
Please, I hope so.
He's still kind of young. He's got that speed, and that's one thing that Aaron Glenn talked about, repeatedly, was speed, and also a real commitment to running the ball, which that'll be nice.
Yeah, for sure.
I keep going back to thinking, I can't remember if it was Dom C or it was I can't remember who it was, but someone had said one time that, we had run plays that were good running plays that probably would have worked, but he checked out of them, like a lot of run plays that might have worked got checked out of. And, because we always got to, throw that flanker screen. Seconds it takes the ball to get over there, and then the guy's got to. God, that's such an aggravating thing about the way that our offense was. Like so many times, throwing short of the sticks, and expecting make a guy miss. And no, how about you got 6 yards to go, you go 6 yards, and a comeback, and I don't know, it was just really aggravating, some of the things that we did, but I'm glad that foolishness will all be over with now.
Blessed be he, Ricky.
Yeah, Aaron Glenn, he's like, we're going to run the ball and we're going to stop the run. And that's like first order of business. And I like it, man. Running the ball, good defense. That's like the Jets football I grew up on. So can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Ricky, thanks for the call, man. And keep those mock drafts coming, baby. We need now a whole new, we have to rip them all up. I'll have to tell Tom C. We need a post error mock draft correction mock. We might have to do that for Monday. I'll have to reach out to Dom, see about that in advance, and see if that's coming. But terrific. It's terrific news. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to Philly Noodles, who's likely eating a cup of Philly Noodles here on the program for breakfast. Why wouldn't he be? You're on mute, Philly. Nope. There you go.
Cup of Greek non-fat yogurt.
Okay, there's probably some noodles in there, probably somewhere.
Yeah,
just keep digging.
I see them right there.
There you go. Yeah,
there's got to be a
beautiful.
little oodle or noodle.
Beautiful. Yeah, terrific.
The great googly moogly.
Yeah.
First off, June made me go up and get my hat.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
Go New York. Go New York. Go.
I will say this real quick for the Knicks fans. I know we have a lot of Knicks fans in the audience. I don't want the Knicks to go out like if you're going to get punched in the face, then I don't want the end of the Indiana Pacers series where the entire Knicks team was dying like a battlefield war where barely any of you got to the finish line. Like if you're going to lose, punch me in the face and I lose like a man and we were healthy. We just weren't good enough. If the Knicks, once again, depending on this Jalen Brunson ankle thing, if that compromises the entire playoff run, that to me is going to be fucked because that sucks for everything that they tried to build this year. So hopefully he's healthy by playoffs.
This is why the worrisome was Anunoby getting the deal he got, because if he gets injured quickly, which he did in the beginning of the season, and you start missing his games, everyone else is over trying on the roster because the roster they had last year assembled was doing their thing. But it is what it is. They'll figure it out. They have to. Okay. Thibodeau will beat somebody's ass physically.
There you go.
So just hearing that news with 73, I didn't know. I just woke up.
Yeah.
Dear God, that's gigantic.
So cool.
What? That changes a lot.
I still don't know how that happened. How did that like the NFL themselves had it messed up? How did you guys go like, geez, we dropped the draft pick of the crack? Which one was it? I don't know. It's probably this one. Like that's crazy, but yeah.
Mr. BG, can I say maybe this is a little frozen envelope thing going on for the 73 is a little bit more rich than 92 to go up to number 1.
That it is. That's a what is that? What do we have on the sheet here? It's about 100 points. 100 points is a lot of points, man.
Baby. I think we just put hook spot on our draft.
I think we did. That's a good flavor to have on there. Yeah.
3 things. Hop on Pops. I missed it. I wanted to tell Pops it looks like his Cowboys are becoming the NFC East Jets.
I like that.
That'll be the 4th.
Hopefully he's listening. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. 2, what Ricky said. The reason why we had that issue with the passing, we listened to our Lord and Savior, Aaron Rodgers, for whatever he wanted. Yes. Well, it's okay. Makes sense. That's why I put that. And 3, I heard Connor Rogers pushing Mike Green, that lineman.
Yeah, edge rusher from Marshall.
17. I think they're going to draft him because they're going to go through small schools. It's not like Marshall's tiny. Marshall gave us some good players.
Chad Pennington.
They gave us Chad, of course, and they gave us Keyshawn in a sense. Or no, and they gave the league, what's his face? Randy Moss.
Yeah, Randy Moss. He was catching passes from Chad. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got to say, I think they might go Mike Green if they – I would
At
do
7 you're talking about?
It's rich. But I mean, they could just because of the athleticism and the repertoire.
Hey, the production. He had 17 sacks last year. Come on, man.
Yeah, that's we're not talking about him, so that could be that name that's there. Or if it's there late, the Jets could move up to go get him.
Ooh, they're Jermaine Johnson. Okay, I like that. So
now you got the 2 bookends that way, and it is what it is. And Kenneth Grant was getting pushed heavily by somebody on that was interviewed by the Jets.
Really?
That makes sense.
I've seen him as a popular Bengals pick. I think they pick like 17 or something. I've seen him go there a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And De'Ami Brown, I get it. I mean, for that, I'd rather just rely on the draft with June's take for real. Because you're gonna pay this guy some money. Like Darius Slayton too. I don't know. Like Tim Patrick, I get it. It's opening the field over the top.
Yeah.
You got Corley, haven't even used him. He might be faster than a couple of those other players, you know what I mean? So
maybe.
We don't even know. But again, let's let free agency chips slide like they're going to.
Hey, we're about to find them out, Philly.
That Tino move is big.
Yeah, 100%. Cup of Philly noodles. Thanks for the call, man. It is, again, I can't I know a lot of people, like I said, I did that SpongeBob joke earlier. A lot of people are like, Jet fans, 19 picks? What the hell is 19 picks? And I'm like, come on, man. It's good. Again, I talk about the draft value. When you go to the value chart, again, I know I'm a draft nerd with this. The equivalent is a 4th round pick. That could be massive in trades for whether it's proven veteran players or moving up in the draft. It could be for just getting a better player. 19 spots different. That's just massive of who could be available at the top of a 3rd round versus the end of a 3rd round. That could make a huge difference. I think this is something we'll circle. We see what ultimately happens with that pick as it travels in the draft. I think we might come back to this as saying, wow, this is a pretty seismic moment here. We have 800 people in the room. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe, but make sure you all get on your hands and knees and bow down. The Philium has joined us, FL Phil 98, baby.
Good morning, Paul. It's good to see you.
Yeah.
I wanted to jump on today because with free agency upon us, we've talked about the salary cap, understanding the salary cap a bit. And there was a call the other day about Kyler Murray and that there was only a couple of years of guaranteed money left and all that. People need to understand the cap hit implications of contracts. Now, I don't know if there's anybody you can bring on or if you think you're up to doing it yourself or whatever, but just because a guy only has 20 million in guaranteed money left doesn't mean that's what our cap implications going forward are. This is how teams get themselves into cap hell. To stay under the cap, if you sign a guy for big money, you can front load it with a signing bonus, have multiple out years so that you amortize that so you don't take a giant cap hit in a single year. You can show all kinds of lower numbers per year, but ultimately the entirety of the cap, as long as they're on your roster, is on your cap. So if a guy has money left on it on a contract, even if it's not guaranteed, case in point, we're all dancing in the street about the $29 million we just cleared for Davante Adams. Are you guys aware we're paying him $8 million in dead cap money simply because he had a contract, not guaranteed, but he had a contract and he was on our roster. If we had kept him, unless we renegotiated, we would have had to pay him $38 million and none of it was guaranteed. That's how it works, guys. All right. So it's way different than, well, you know, if you only pay him this much guaranteed money, that all the guaranteed money does is give you the option like we had with Davante, which is if you want to get rid of a guy and he has no guaranteed money left, you can get rid of him, you can cut him, trade him, whatever, but a portion of that contract is almost guaranteed to hit your cap that year. All right. So, you know, I hope that's sort of a generalized thing. And with free agency coming, we don't just have to look at the player that we want. We got to understand the contract implications, especially if we're taking on a player who has contract already.
100%. And Philly, I'm with you reaching out right now. What I'm going to try to do, we'll see if we could do it it'll be less than 24 hours. But by the way, if I appreciate that, you know, get a guy, or unless you're capable. Let me make this perfectly clear. Incapable. I am an idiot. I have to calculator, salary cap, this or that. I know whatever. I've taught myself about the cap. So no, definitely not capable. But I think you're right. There are all these common misconceptions with contractual lingo. I know a great guy that worked for PFF and he's worked for a team before doing cap stuff. He's the number one guy that I'm always texting and reaching out to. So I'd love to bring him to the show to explain, especially ahead of free agency. If we could get him on the show tomorrow, that'd be perfect. But to explain a lot of the comment, and obviously he'll be live on the show, so hopefully people can ask questions too and submit them in the chat about dead cap hits and guaranteed money, and there's void years. I think there's so many stuff that are, and I say this mostly for me, peanut brain, but everyone to understand and wrap their mind around like what the cap and contracts and everything actually looks like. It'd be a good 101 class, I think, before free agency to have.
Yeah, I think it would be a great time to do it right now, and going through this next couple of weeks. Anytime a player comes up, we could actually discuss not only do we want this guy, but what are the cap hit implications. And lastly, on that, the only reason that we're in decent shape, because again, we when we take into account Rodgers, even at the $15 million level, we got about $45 million in dead cap right now, and there's going to be more. Okay, we all want to move on from Allen Lazard. What we keep hearing is, well, it frees up $6 million. Yeah, but the rest of the contract is still a dead cap hit. All right. So, these are the things that need to be, really understood. So, I think it would be great to have that, like, incorporate that into the discussions with the players we're looking at.
100%. So, Philliam, we'll see if we can bang it out for before tomorrow. So, I hope so. I hope he is available tomorrow morning because I'd love to do it. And like I said, it'd be super beneficial for people who don't know. Legal tampering period is Monday at noon. Free agency is Wednesday at 4 o'clock. So, we're going to be getting free agency news hitting the Jets ASAP, both in-house guys and new guys being added to the rotation. So, we'll see what we can do, Philliam. Thanks for the inspiration there.
Thanks a lot, Paul. Take
it. There he is, FL Phil 98, baby, an absolute legend joining us here on the program. I'll see if I can do that. It'd be great to get, I know a couple of cap people in the industry that are way smarter than me about all things cap, and there's so many questions I think we all have about it, so we'll see if I could do that as well. Yeah, Alan says OTC and Spot Track are my go-tos. Yeah, I 100% use both of them. OTC is over the cap, Ant Jets 82 who's asking, so it's over the cap and Spot Track. When I go for highest paid players in the league and I'm looking at annual salary, I use over the cap all the time. Spot Track has a tab on their, so they cover all the contracts in sports, specifically NFL. They have a market value tab that projects what a player's worth on the open market. And I use that all the time when I'm writing articles and stuff and try to get a sense of players and things of that nature. They're really good. So they do a lot of stuff. So OTC, Spot Track are great. We'll see if we can get maybe one of those guys over there or more. I got someone from formerly a PFF. We'll see if I can reach out there as well. Well, Alan and everybody else for that matter, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Again, we got a full article in the YouTube description down below. Let me do a quick discount double check to see if we reached it. And we did not. We did not reach it yet, but that's okay. We'll be reaching it soon. When we reach 7,500 subscribers, we'll give away a free piece of autographed New York Jets memorabilia. Can't wait for that. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we will see you tomorrow morning for Boy Green Daily. Take care, everybody.